Good evening, dear students and learners. Namaskar. You all are watching us on eVidya channel number 6 to channel number 12 and on our YouTube channel NCRT Official. And I am Kusum Prasad. And this is our very special session Sahyog. But before we start this session, we have an announcement for you. In yet another exciting edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha, our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji will interact with students, teachers and parents on 27 January 2023. So let's listen to the experiences of our Prime Minister and know how to make exam a joyful celebration by keeping examination at stress at bay. So make sure you do not forget to watch this program live on all major channels including Doordarshan, Community Radio and All India Radio. And we have another announcement also. We are proud that India assumed the G20 presidency and will convene the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in 2023. A nation deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism, India G20 presidency would be a watershed moment in her history as it seeks an important role by finding pragmatic global solution for the well-being of all, and in doing so manifest a true spirit of Vasudev Kutumbakam, or the world is one family. So this was the announcement. We move to our session Sahyog. As you all know, this is our very special session and we call it Sahyog, in which we talk about mental well-being of the students and we try to provide psychosocial support as well. And we daily come up with a new topic, and our today's topic is examination and its impact of mental health. And our today's experts are, our first guest is Miss Monica ma'am. Welcome ma'am. Namaskar.
Namaskar ma'am. Namaskar to all the viewers.
Yes, ma'am is practicing counselor, and our second guest is Dr. Seema R. Nambiar ma'am. Welcome ma'am. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Good evening. Thank you.
Yes ma'am. Good evening. Ma'am is NERIE Shillong NCRT. So dear students, before we start this session, we want to tell you about the various medium where you can contact us and where you can approach us. You can call us on our phone number, that is 8800440559. And if you want to email us, our email ID is sahyog.ncert@ciet.nic.in. And apart from this, you can also drop your messages, your queries and questions on our YouTube channel, that is NCRT Official. So these are the various mediums where you can approach us and contact us and you can participate in this session. So we move to our expert, Monica ma'am. My very first question is, ma'am, what is examination?
Okay ma'am. So examination, if I talk about it formally, so formally it is basically the process of testing one's knowledge, skill, capabilities and other physical endurances that one has. It can be written, it can be oral, it can be offline or online, or any other kind of methods can be used for examination. If I segregate this on the basis of impact it has on us, we can segregate in 3 steps, like high impact, medium impact and low impact. The high impact examinations are like our CBSE class 10th and 12th board exams, university exams. The medium impact exams are the scholarship exams or the Olympiad which our students give. The low impact examinations involve the mock tests, the practice tests and other class tests that we have. Now, if I talk about it informally, so basically it is just like a brain teaser. So it is like a brain game. We say it a truth or dare game with the brain to tease our mind, to check it whether we are working well or not. So it keeps us on our toes and motivates us to work hard.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, next question is for Dr. Seema, ma'am. Ma'am, why is examination is very important for students? What is the purpose behind this, ma'am?
Yeah, thank you. Basically, the word examination, when we hear, the first thing which comes to our mind when we were students was a fear. So our students should realize that actually examination is nothing to worry about, or it is nothing to be afraid of. Examination is a very normal process which is very closely associated with education, as if a tree is associated with the roots. Without roots, the upper part is not relevant. Similarly, the examination and education process are very closely associated. It is a way by which students are given a systematic, or students are directed to a systematic learning or a focused learning, or they are compelled to follow a proper pattern of learning. Normally, all the students have different subjects, and each subject has its own importance. And as school education system do examine all the subjects, students will have the knowledge about all the subjects, which is very, very important in this modern age. Another important importance of examination is that it makes children more responsible, not only to the learning process, but also in their content, in organizing their content in their mind. So examination is very, very important. Also, to create a healthy, competitive environment. Students will have to face different challenges in their life. So examination is a process where the students learn how to face challenges. It is also a chance to know one's own strengths and weakness, or the area of improvement. Where do we stand? How far we know? And what do we need to achieve or learn more? As far as teachers are concerned, it is an opportunity to know about the capabilities of the students regarding knowledge, attitude, skills, their capacities, etc. Teachers also can can rectify the problems of the students, or the shortcomings of the students can be rectified through different kind of examination strategy. So examinations are, but it is a very normal process, and it is very closely associated with the education. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Monica ma'am, I want to ask question, ma'am. How students feel during examination time, and what are the impacts of examination on mental health, ma'am?
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So as we know that examination basically serves the purpose of evaluation. So on the other hand, it also impacts the mental health of the student. Examination is not just a day thing, it's basically a whole process. It's basically a whole process of preparation, the day of examination, like during examination, and also the wait for the result. So this is a whole process which we are talking about. Now, how the students feel, I'll take up some points. So, usually the students feel that they are not ready for the examination. They fear the deadlines. They think, okay, I have this exam date schedule. I don't know whether I'm prepared or not. They worry their preparation, everything that they have done. Then the performance, worry of performances, like fear of, like they have prepared mock tests, drilling has been done, they are clear with the concepts, but still they are like, oh, whether I will be able to write it properly. So there are some things like not ready for the examination and worry for the performance. Also, there is a major factor, that is the pressure. The pressure from self, the pressure from peers, the pressure from parents, and sometimes from teachers also. Right, so there are different kind of pressure that the student have. Like, if you do not do well, you will fail in exams. So this is also creating some kind of pressure in the mind of a student. If you want a certain thing, you have to score something above a benchmark that has been set up. And sometimes there is a kind of involvement of peers where they say, oh, you are so brilliant, you don't need to practice much. So there are different kind of pressures that they feel. There is a self-pressure that the student feel, the fear of comparison also. Sometimes, if I take an example, what happens, a student is very good at social studies, and he or she got a very good marks in social studies. Now, instead of looking for what kind of learning gaps are left in social studies, what the student does, he or she looks for the marks of mathematics or some other subject of the other student and tries to compare with them. So this kind of also impacts their mental health, right? And all these things which I was talking about right now, the how the students feel, these all pile up and create a pressure on the performance of the students, and it also impacts the mental health severely. Now if I take up these things, the major factor is the stress and the anxiety. The examination stress is, as we all know, is very much prevailing among all the students, and it tops the list. Yeah, but why is this stress creating a lot of trouble in the students? Sometimes students underperform due to the stress. Sometimes due to this overperformance or creating the over perfectionism among themselves, they are feeling this kind of stress. Right. This and there is one more kind of stress that I like to discuss here. That is the hypo stress. The hypo stress is basically the students feel unchallenging, uninspirational among themselves. So instead of having a very good caliber, they are not able to perform well in the examination. Right. And I'll take up the next thing, that is over perfectionism. So how does this come in the students? When the students are piling up their themselves with a lot of unrealistic goals, some unachievable goals. So what happens? Instead of having their own set of boundaries, they are creating some unrealistic goals. So over perfectionism is also leading to the stress and anxiety of examination that they have. Then I will talk about concentration and self-doubt. So this self-doubt arises because of the stress and anxiety they have, and also the low amount of preparation if the student is having. This self-doubt ultimately harms the productivity, also the planning, and again the concentration of the students that they have. So this is a kind of sequence that has been hampered because of this unplanned thing, and students feel nervous, and also they are anxious whether they will be able to perform well in the examinations or not. All these things are building up this negative self-talk in the students also. They are having this negative self-talk like whether I will be able to write up what I want, how much the question demands. Like I have prepared, I know, but whether I will be able to write it at that time when the examination is going on, or whether the students have written everything very well, but they are waiting for the results and they are worried also. That time also they are feeling anxious and nervous. So once all these impacts that is being faced by the students is very well handled by the students with the help of proper planning and time management, the students can overcome this examination fear that they have and also save their mental health. So they need to have this positive attitude for the examination. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, right, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Seema, ma'am, my next question is for you, ma'am. What are the positive impact of examination on mental health of the students, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah, yes, thank you. Positive impact of examination, basically it happens only when the stress of examination gets reduced. It reduces when children properly plan for it, they manage the time, teachers also help out for the same, parents also have a major role in reducing the stress and anxiety of examination. So once all teaching learning process and the stakeholders contribute equally and the students understanding about the importance of examination. So once all these are in line, students will be able to face examination in a positive way. And once they take it as a very normal process, examination with full self-confidence and they take it as a challenge. And finally, it becomes an interesting way of answering the questions. When they really answer the questions correctly, they cherish the moment and they enjoy giving examination. That is the main objective of the examination reforms which we have been seeing from the previous education system, what they are focusing on to reduce the stress. When we focus more on marks, the outcomes, the quality of learning process reduces and stress on the students is or pressure is more. So as teachers and parents, our role is to reduce the stress by focusing on the process part so that the students' understanding level increases. When they understand things, there is no fear. So examination, when they face it with interest, definitely the self-confidence of the students increases and it becomes more interesting and they are motivated to face the challenges. Moreover, it is a chance for the child to know how to reflect, self-reflect. Where do they really stand? What do they know? What are their areas to be improved? So this becomes a habit when they face examination and they improve and improve. However, another positive impact of examination is that children develop critical thinking through examinations because the question system, evaluation system is such that now critical thinking of the child increases, reasoning capacity will be more when they give examination, logical thinking, problem solving skills, all these indirectly help them really to life challenges when they grow up. So these skills which they develop through examination is finally going to help them in their day-to-day life. So feeling towards examination is very, very important. Fear should not be there, but it has to be taken as a responsibility by the student, as well as teachers and parents have a big role, positive feeling towards examination. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Monica, ma'am, what tips you want to give to our students who all are watching us, who are going for the examination, who are preparing for the examination, ma'am?
Thank you, ma'am. So the tips, basically the students can themselves have their own tips because when they are preparing, they know the tricks, they have the tips because they know if they are feeling down, what they want. They have to have a hobby that they can follow. They can have some breaks in between. Then there is one tip from my side that they need to have this positive reassurance and remember the previous wins or the success that they have. It gives a sense of motivation and boost that yes, I did that time, I can do this time also. Then there is one more thing that meditation and exercise helps a lot. And to have a proper planning, it will create wonders. And I feel that your mind is like a weapon. It can make you and it can destroy you as well. So it's the threshold that you have. You have to deal with it, right? You have to know what are the plannings that you need, what are the uh, preparation that you need. So examinations are basically just like a roller coaster ride. You don't know what is in front of you. But yeah, whatever it is very wonderful. If you have a positive attitude, if you have a proper planning, you will come out with a very wonderful colors. And you will not fear exams at all and have a very good mental health as well.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am. Ma'am, Seema, ma'am, we want to know that what you want to say, what message you want to convey to our students and the teachers and the parents who all are watching us. You want to give any message to all?
Yeah, thank you. Briefly, like during examination or while preparing for examination, students need to plan. They need to plan, they need to manage the time. They need to have a reading time as well as writing time based on the subjects. Writing helps, note making, so making flow charts. There are so many techniques, tricks and techniques to memorize things. So children need to plan accordingly and teachers need to support for that. How do they remember majority of the concepts in a brief way so that they can explain it, understand and explain it in their own way. Teachers have a major role in that and parents, they need to discuss with them their problems and continuous studying or making them compelled to sit, that won't do. So they need recreation, they need break time, they need a proper health, proper food, proper sleep. All these are very, very important. And planning and time management is very, very important. And it has to be taken as a normal process with responsibility.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Monica, ma'am, we want to ask this. During the examination time, stress is very. Um, uh, so, how they can handle the stress and anxiety during the examination time? How you? What tips you can suggest, ma'am?
Okay. So
Because
basically,
stress
ma'am,
are
what
very common during the examination, before and after, and during the time also, ma'am.
yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, it is. So basically, first of all, the students must make a habit of practicing a small topics. Like because what happens now, this stress is arising because at the end we want to do everything at the stroke of a midnight. So that cannot be done. So students need to make it a habit that we have to do a bit of preparation from the day one only. So what happens, even if you are having your exam tomorrow, but you are not stressed because you know that you will be able to write something because you were gaining one step at a time, one step at a time. So that can be very helpful for the students, that practicing daily, and yes, not to overburden themselves. They must have breaks. Then the realistic goals that I'm talking about, like if you are not able to score very good, suppose you're scoring 20 out of 40, then please make it convenient to have 25 or 30 instead of having 39 or 35. So having realistic goals also helps them. And
Yes.
when you are all prepared for the examination, just take a deep breath. I used to say this to my students also, like you must have three deep breathing. Like when you're sitting in an examination, deep breathe, and deep breathe. So you can have a lot of oxygen in your mind, and you can very well relax.
Yes, ma'am, you are right, ma'am. Meditating and deep breathing in between the revision or in between the examination time also relaxes the mind. So, thank you so very much, ma'am. Thank you, you all, Monica ma'am and Seema ma'am. Thank you very much for this session, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank
And thank you, your dear learners and students who all are watching us. This was a very nice session. We were talking about examination and its impact on mental health. So before we wind up this session, we have an announcement for you in yet another exciting edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji will interact with students, teachers and parents on 27 January 2023. So listen to the experiences of our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji and know how to make exam a joyful celebration by keeping examination stress at bay. So please do not forget to watch this live interactive session on all major channels including Doordarshan, Community Radio and All India Radio. And we have another announcement also. We are proud that India assumed G20 presidency and will convene the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in 2023. A nation deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism. India G20 presidency would be a watershed moment in her history as it seeks to play an important role by finding pragmatic global solution for the well-being of all, and in doing so manifest a true spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or the world is one family. So this was the important announcement we want to share with you. So dear students and learners, this is time to wind up this session, and so take care and goodbye, bye bye, namaskar.